Lucy. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I know there's always many choices at any one time here at FGC. There are going to be a few songs in this sharing, in this concert with you, that I would love to have you join in with me. And maybe what we can do while there are more folks coming in, like the dear Stookies. Hello, Stookies. One of the songs is called "A Roof Over My Head." It's about homelessness. And well, no, that one's going to be too hard to teach. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, yes. Oh, Let the Light, which is kind of a bluegrass, upbeat, alternative way of saying some of the same things that I said in Live Up to the Light. When you open yourself to spirit and you say, whatever style, whatever genre, you know, different ways of saying some of the same things, you know, stay flexible, don't just get in your rut of your comfortable codified language. You never know what's going to come. And so this song came. And the refrain for that, when we get to it, goes, I am an instrument of hope, I am a messenger of peace, I am a singer in the storm, I can give my best, at least that's what I hope to be about, so my soul can sing and shout, let it out, we're flying free. So we can try the first line, we go, I am an instrument of hope, I am a messenger of peace, try that. I am an instrument of hope, I am a messenger of peace. And then the second part goes, I am a singer in the storm, I can give my best. I am a singer in the storm, I can give my best. And then it goes on, at least that's what I hope to be about. Just do that little piece. At least that's what I hope to be about. Yeah, you got it. And then it goes on. So my soul can sing and shout. So my soul can sing and shout. And then the last part goes, let it out, we're flying free. Let it out, we're flying free. And so quickly and sort of fast forward, but not going into squirrel voice. I am an instrument of hope, I am a messenger of peace. I am a singer in the storm, I can give my best. At least that's what I hope to be about, so my soul can sing and shout. Let it out, we're flying free. One more time, and then when we get to it, you'll be ready. I am an instrument of hope, I am a messenger of peace. I am a singer in the storm, I can give my best. At least that's what I hope to be about, so my soul can sing and shout. Let it out, we're flying free. Beautiful. You know, we moved on to Pleasant Hill, Tennessee in 2005, and so I've learned how to sing more nasally when called for. And so, like on that one about I'm a singer in the storm, fits right into the territories. Wow, well, there's a number of you that I haven't seen for many years. Hello, dear Stookies. Wow, good to see you. Some of you saw me 3 years ago, I think it was, at FGC, and some of you haven't seen me since before that, and life has taken me through some interesting times. And that included cancer, it included 3 of our 4 vehicles being totaled due to other people's driving, and 3 of the 4 of us getting injured, having to deal with that. Knee replacements for my husband. Oh gosh, and they were just about ready to get back into the music when my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And I had always promised my parents that when they needed me, I would come near. I would come to them. Because I figured one of the best ways that I could honor them and thank them for all that they did for me and for us was to draw near in the later years. So that call came in fall of 2005, and we uprooted with well, it was a very dramatic time. We uprooted with all our critters and our gear and transplanted ourselves down to Pleasant Hill, Tennessee. And that is where we have been living ever since. And there were times during those 5 years until Mom passed in September of '09 of when I just wondered how I could keep doing this when there was all these events and things happening around me and in the world that called for some kind of an urgency of response, which I might have wanted to give, and yet my focus I had chosen was to be helping my parents. And what I discovered as the years went by was that was a really good training ground and testing ground. And I learned a lot, and I don't regret it at all. And there's the tyranny of the straight arrow, you know, I'm going to get to my goal come hell or high water, I don't care what anybody thinks. And then there's the tyranny of the never-ending circle where you don't get anywhere. And so there's the sacred spiral that gets you maybe to where you're going, but the journey recognizes delays as maybe learning times along the way that prepare you for going forward with the journey. And it does seem like that is what this time has been about. When I was a very small child, my mother discovered I was very musical, and so it was Mom that introduced me to the magical world of music and provided me with wonderful teachers and training. I had 14 years of classical piano, I had about 10 voice, wonderful public school music experience. My mother had an extensive classical record collection, E-Power Biggs, what was the Standard Oil Sunday afternoon concerts, Leonard Bernstein. How many of you, I have to ask this, how many of you ever made the acquaintance of the little children's record called The Carrot Seed? Really? Really, really? Oh my gosh, okay. Well, that was one of my prized possessions, as was the little recording of Peter and the Wolf. Remember that? Oh, yes. So, a fascination with it and an awareness of the instruments of the orchestra. Mom and Dad very involved with a religious peace movement and civil rights, so there was music that arose up from those people's movements. So it was a pretty rich childhood musically, as well as kind of an interesting laboratory as a preacher's kid, an outspoken preacher's kid, of sort of looking at the relationship between the possibilities of Christianity, maybe, and what I would call churchianity. So, I feel blessed. What I would like to do is teach you the chorus for one more song. This is called Rise, Rise. And I had I'll tell you about the song when we get there, but this is what the chorus goes like. Right around the corner be the promised land. I'll try the whole thing with me. Rise, rise, to rise above it, arise up and take your stand. things that I've become keenly aware of during these last several years is that I really do feel like who I am, just like I think every one of us is a spirit being having a musical experience. Yes. A spirit being having a human experience. And there are different roles that I play in relationship to the people in my life. And as daughter, wife and lover, mother, friend, it's been interesting to have a relationship with these songs as I've written them, as I've compiled them. This collection is the first collection of all originals. The other albums, which many of you have purchased over the years, and I thank you profoundly for that, for letting me share your life with you, or my voice anyway. I'll do a caveat on that. There was one song in here that was a poem that someone brought into the Rural Health Clinic of the Cumberlands that's just around the corner from us. It's a free clinic where we've been on the board of directors for the last 3 years. And as public health degrades in this country and as medical care degrades in this country, the free clinics are becoming the only option for ever more people. Someone brought a poem in there, and I looked at it and immediately I heard kind of a Celtic melody to it and heard the harmony. So I did set that one to music, and that is included in this concert today and on the album. I'm going to start with a song that I wrote called Mother's Day. And there are many of you who remember our girls, Satya and Crystal. Satya is 27, she's in Tallahassee, she's doing great. She's involved with a hybrid heritage breed animal program, especially the chickens, little Swedish chickens. No, they don't go cook-a-doodle-doo, but they're very cute. Crystal is in New York City, carving out a career as a model, a singer, dancer, working on her first album. And this is the child who said, "Mama, I would never go into the performing arts. They're just too undependable." So, oh boy. So anyway, this is a song that I wrote for them. It's about many more things than just what the song, what was happening that day when I wrote it. But the impetus was that it was when we were living in New Hampshire, and it was Mother's Day. We were going to go to a horse show, and I woke up first, and it was pouring rain. So the song is about how parents navigate disappointments. It's an all-night white light sky of gray. The spring horse show is canceled today, and it's pouring rain on this Mother's Day, on the 8th of May. Hey, hey. Oh well, oh well, oh swell, oh well. There are just some things we cannot change, and then we all must rearrange. And though sometimes you may think it's strange, there's a range of times with different rhymes. Old song, new way. Hey, 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 hey. And I wonder what to do now, and I wonder what to say, 'cause it's one more disappointment, and I wanted to find a way to celebrate this family, to find a way to say, as a mother on Mother's Day, we'll be okay. it stings, it always does. I'm not surprised, I really was looking forward to the time with you. There are so few when we can do something, kick back, something new. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. So I call on imagination, and I call the angels in, and I open up my mind and heart so I once more can begin to find a way to show my love, to find a way to say, as a mother on Mother's Day, we'll be okay. As a mother on a rainy day, we'll be okay. As a mother on any day, we'll be okay. I started to mention a roof over my head. It's a song that I wrote for the Springfield, Massachusetts Habitat for Humanity chapter for a celebration of their volunteer workers. And I put it on this album because the problem of homelessness is becoming ever more serious in our country and around the world. And it poses so many challenges to so many of us, and we are not unimpacted by this. As many people are losing their jobs, losing their houses, and I'm sure that this includes the Religious Society of Friends. So this crisis is an opportunity for response, for reflection, reconsideration of many things. And the thing that inspired the song was something rather mundane, which was that the house was a mess. I had 2 hours without my very small children, and my soul longed for music. So I was literally standing between the broom closet and the piano. And I just kind of went, oh. And I was the only one in the house, I thought. And then I just had this sensation of this big hand on my shoulder, and this Harriet Tubman type energy, and this voice that said, "Rise above it, honey, ain't always gonna look like this." And the hair went up the back of my neck, and I went to the piano, and I wrote this song. Let me see if I can find it here. I will confide in you, which is no confidence if this is going to go out on YouTube, that one of the things that happened to me after being diagnosed with very aggressive breast cancer, going through 2 lumpectomy surgeries, not being able to find a doctor who would monitor me just on natural therapies. But she would if I would do the regular protocol, you know, the chemo and the radiation, and then we could do this other as the adjuvant. And I do believe that prayers and radical changing of my diet, some Reiki treatment by one of the students at Earlham School of Religion, and these natural therapies are what saved me, and that the chemo and the radiation maybe had little to do with it. In fact, I'm happy I survived the treatments. I know people are all over the spectrum on their feelings about that. But I have learned that cancer is a very big moneymaker. Anyway, here's a roof over my head. which I'm proud. A roof over my head, a place to call my own. No matter how fancy or new or complete, just something called home, so I'm not on the street. Foxes got holes and bears got dens. Birds have their nests, and I need a friend to help me find a home, so I don't have to roam. These nights in the cold are misery untold, but they hardly compare to the cold-hearted stare of the one with a home who won't care. A roof over my head, a place to call my own. No matter how fancy or new or complete, just something called home, so I'm not on the street. Well, this is the one that I said, if you open yourself to spirit and you say, I'm willing to write in whatever genre you would like me to. And so I found this wonderful engineer in Crossville, Tennessee, just 12 miles away from where we live. And that is where I was able to do this album. It's at Star Recording Studio, and my engineer is Tony Perry. And if you do purchase one of those albums, you'll see Tony Perry, this, you know. I even roped him into singing the bass part on this. He can sing very low bass. So someone suggested when you put in there all vocals, Susan Stark, you should have, well no, vocals, Susan Stark, I should have said that I did all the harmonies as well as Tony doing that bass line, but whatever. So anyway, this is the Oh Let the Light Light Up Your Way. He says it's a Southern gospel, and I say it's bluegrass, because I shopped it to a bluegrass band in Keenan, New Hampshire first, and they played it and I liked it, so whatever. So, this is how this one goes. Oh, let the light light up your way. It will not lead you astray. In the midnight hour, it's bright as day. Oh, let the light light up your way. I am an instrument of hope. I am a messenger of peace. I am a singer in the storm. Your resistance has had its day. Oh, let the love light light up your way. I am an instrument of hope. I am a messenger of peace. I am a singer in the storm. I can give my best. At least that's what I hope to be about. So my soul can sing and shout. Let it out, let it out. We're flying free. Here we go. And when you think you're all alone, being down and left here all on your own, I'm here to tell you that it ain't true. Oh, let that love light come light up you. I am an instrument of hope. I am a messenger of peace. I am a singer in the storm. I can give my best. At least that's what I hope to be about. So my soul can sing and shout. Let it out, we're flying free. This is my favorite verse. There are some bright lights in the midst of strife, angels along the path of life. They could be me, or they could be you. So let that love light come light up you. I am an instrument of hope. I am a messenger of peace. I am a singer in the storm. I can give my best. At least that's what I hope to be about. So my soul can sing and shout. Let it out, we're flying free. Oh, let it out, we're flying free. Yeah! Thank you for singing. I'd feel kind of stupid if you didn't. If I invited you and you didn't. Oh, this is one called Jump the Distance, and this was another one of where I just said, okay, well, just whatever. And it just felt like I was channeling something that was surely some kind of great hit out of the 1920s or 30s. You know, on the Radio City Music thing, and the mutes and the horns going, you know, you'll see. It's called Jump the Distance. Say this album is about things that divide or seem to divide and how we bridge that. Blue skies, new leaves, trees rising as high as you please. Spring, springing yet once more. My heart starts singing when I walk out the door. Warm breeze. I'm suddenly freezing up because I'm on the camera. We'll edit that out. Cool nights, warm days, so pleasing to my gaze. Birds are singing, feeding their young. The song's bubbling up to the tip of my tongue. I can be with you, dear, though miles apart. We can jump the distance, connected at the heart. So near, so far, still underneath the same sun, moon, and stars. Time drags, time flies, until the time we can realize the dream we dreamed together again. You call me, I'm there. You need me, say when. I'm here, how strange. You're there, let's rearrange. Soon as we're able to gather once more, my heart will be singing as I open the door. That's life, for sure. Some separations we endure, knowing we're never completely apart, makes a strange sort of pain in my heart. That was supposed to be a sweet sort of pain in my heart. I can be with you, dear, though miles apart. We can jump the distance, connected at the heart. So near, so far, still underneath the same sun, moon, and stars. Time drags, time flies, until the time we can realize the dream we dreamed together again. You call me, I'm there, you need me, say when. Blue skies, new leaves, trees rising as high as you please. Spring is springing yet once more. My heart starts singing when I walk out the door. Cool nights, warm days, so pleasing to my gaze. Birds are singing, feeding their young. The song's bubbling up to the tip of my tongue. I realized I didn't finish where I was going with the reference to the chemo, and that is that one of the effects of chemo, the chemo drugs is something they call Chemo Brain. I don't know if you were ever assessing that on heads, because the poisons are so very, very strong, and it gets into your whole system. I lost my hair twice, but I had this Chemo Brain thing. It was very frightening. I couldn't articulate. I couldn't speak very well. My thinking was very, very foggy and fuzzy. And Crystal's boyfriend's grandmother was a nurse. She'd been a nurse for decades. And when she was diagnosed with cancer and went through the chemotherapy, it really did a number on her brain. And she had to stop working. She wasn't retired yet, but she had to stop. And that was very frightening to me. And one of the effects of that I have found is that it's very, very hard for me to memorize. Very, very hard for me to memorize the words. So I apologize for having the written words in front of me. I hope that's not a distraction to you. But I don't, it'll blank out in really funny times. My husband has some hearing loss, and some disabilities, you can see they're visual and you go, oh, okay, there's something going on there, but some are invisible. And it's very hard to, if you navigate through life and you have one of those invisible disabilities, it's a little tricky because people can't see it, so they don't think it's there. So we'll see how I do as I'm bringing the music back off the back shelf, and maybe I'll be able to memorize better. But I've been working so hard on getting the album done and ready for the gathering, by the time of the gathering, that a lot of things, if they were memorized, they went out of memorization. The other thing that's very interesting is I've got all these tapes in my head. You can't hear all the harmony stacking that I did. You can't hear like on "Oh Let the Light," "Oh Let the Light," "Oh Let the," and all these harmony voices go "La la la la, I have your," and so anyway, that's a distraction because I'm not hearing them. You're not hearing them.
Yes, we are.
Can you kind of hear and imagine what they are? Okay. This is a song called "Your Sweet Face." These are different takes on Grace. My grandmother's name was Grace. Satya Grace is named after Grandma. Reference to Amazing Grace. I really didn't It's been a while, my friend. I'd begun to wonder when I'd be gazing into your sweet face. You've certainly had your trials and your woes. They've probably etched those lines upon your face. As the years have rolled along, you're still so clear and strong. You're the picture of amazing grace. I've worked hard all these years, conquered many fears, that a peaceful, loving heart be a familiar place. I've journeyed far from home, my destiny to roam, till I'd be gazing into your sweet face. If you certainly had your trials and our woes, they've made us stronger folks, I would suppose. And though these bodies die, we'll be together by and by. That's the promise of amazing grace. I've often felt her near, just beyond my sight. I see her smile and hear her trying to comfort me. Though death be bittersweet, my joy will be complete, 'cause I'll be gazing into Grandma's face. The ones who've traveled over and returned, been sharing the amazing things they've learned. I can't prove it right or wrong, but my hunch is awful strong, that it's the promise of amazing grace. Can't prove it right or wrong, but my hunch is awful strong, that it's the promise of amazing grace. Thank you. I've been talking probably too much, and so that's cut into the time. I'm not going to do the Dear Mother song, but I will tell you about it. It was a song that I wrote as if it was my mother singing about her mother when Grandma went into some kind of a senility and was a child again on the farm in New York. And Grandma came and lived with us after Grandpa died. And it was very hard for my mother. I was watching all this very closely. And I wrote this song knowing that maybe someday it would become my song. And in fact, it did become my song. So it's kind of long, so I won't do it right now, but I encourage you to listen carefully to it on the album. I wrote this next song for my daughters when they were going through some hard times. What was interesting, as we came into the final year of Mom's life, which, if you've had any acquaintance with Alzheimer's, is a long, slow goodbye. And the life is narrowing and the grieving is for not only the physical abilities and the ability to talk and all that, but you're losing your memories. And so what we realized was that this was a process of, we did a lot of memory reviewing and talking about things. And I realized that we were becoming the new caretakers of the memories, of the family memories. I also began to hear this song as if Mom was singing it to me. It's called Stay With Me, Honey. Stay with me, honey, don't give up. I know you're drinking a bitter cup. Your dreams are all changing, hang on to the core. Look at me, love, you're not alone anymore. Never drift away, I will always be near. Across time and space, through your joys and your tears. See me in the clouds as they sail across the blue. The sparkle of the sun in the diamonds in the dew. I have loved you forever, and I always will. Let go of your burden and let your mind be still. Stay with me, honey, don't give up. I know you're drinking a bitter cup. Your dreams are all changing, hang on to the core. Look at me, love, you're not alone anymore. Those who have loved us and gone on before surely will be there to open the door. The road may be rocky until we depart, but keep your eyes open and never lose heart. You can rise up in courage and live in the light. Resist getting pulled down in this very dark night. Stay with me, honey, don't give up. I know you're drinking a bitter cup. Your dreams are all changing, hold on to the core. Look at me, love, you're not alone anymore. Thank you. This is the song I was telling you about that was a poem that someone brought into the Rural Health Clinic of the Cumberlands. It's called Miss Me a Little, or Miss Me and Let Me Go. And what I discovered is that when I Googled it, I was trying to find who the author was, and everybody and their neighbor were claiming authorship. And in the bereavement community, people have just run with this thing. You know, it's a very beloved poem. How many of you have made the acquaintance of the Miss Me a Little poem? Anybody? Maybe you'll recognize it when you hear the words. But I have hunted and hunted and hunted to try to find out if Edgar Allan Guest, who was the poet laureate of Michigan, was the author of this poem. Some sources say, but I have not been able to find anything. He worked for the Detroit Free Press. I have left messages with everybody there, probably. But, so I put on the album Author Undetermined. So if in your travels you come across or you share the song with somebody and they go, let me know. Just going to do the first verse of the Rise, Rise song. It's got 3 other verses to it. Remember learning this at the beginning? So anyway, as a nod to African American music historically and what a national living heritage, a national living treasure it is. And I think one of the ways that it is such is that there's all these amazing songs that came out of the most obscene and horrible experiences of slavery. And the efforts to wipe out African Americans has not stopped. That I understand. But anyway, the gift was taking things that were painful and obscenely awful and transmuting them into works of art and beauty to help others along the way. I think that's what characterizes a lot of the music of the African American experience. And I've tried to draw on this, in some ways a little hesitant as a whitey, but I love jazz and I love the blues. 4/4 beat. White music tends to accent beats 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. But a lot of the African root stuff goes 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 2, 3, 4. So that's a good thing. You help yourself. So I'm going to go on with it. Well, I was singing the blues. Well, I was singing such a sad, sad song. Well, I was singing the blues. I know that everything was going wrong. As I was wailing them blues, an angel came and tapped me on the shoulder, sweetly singing, now rise, rise, oh, rise above it, arise up and take your stand. Arise, rise, rise above it, 'cause right around the corner be the promised land. And like I said, there's other verses, but then at the very end, this chorus ends with, 'cause right around the corner be the promised land. I'm going to end with the title cut of this album. And, oh, actually, maybe I should stop.
No, go ahead.
No.
Lucy says go ahead. Go ahead. What was that?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, honey. Okay, I will. I don't know if you heard it in the Jump the Distance song, we can jump the distance connected at the heart. Well, that phrase stuck with me and stuck with me. And so it was from that I wrote the Connected at the Heart song. So these they're kind of strung like pearls, some of these songs. So I'd like to thank you all for coming, and let this be my blessing to you if you are in the time of someone in your life who is in the dying stage, or if there is somebody that you are far away from that you miss very much, or somebody who's already passed on who you still hold close in your heart. This song is for you. This is a conversation across the veil. Spirit is not bound by time or space. We can be together, though not face to face. All I have to do is see you tap into your soul. It matters not since last we met, nor how living takes its toll. We are connected at the heart always. We are connected at the heart always. Death, though but a passage, has its sting. I would love to see and hold you more than anything. The curtain that divides us does not extend inside us. Keep confident and feel me close. Call me when you need me most. I'll come to you, I'll never break the tie that binds. I'll come to you, I'll never break the tie that binds. I wish that you could see and know that I am near. In dreams we walk together through the seasons of the year. The days we have upon the earth are numbered from the stars, and all that any one of us can do to play our part is love the best we can love the best we can and shoot straight from the heart. No one said it would be easy, no one said we wouldn't fall. How exquisite is the pain and the courage to stand tall. The naked fear, the awful shame, the vexing stubborn pride, the contradicting passions and the loneliness inside. How the currents swirl around us as we search for higher ground. How the currents swirl around us as we search for higher ground. How sacred and capricious and surreal. The only things we really have are love and how we feel. This leaving is an awful thing, so precious and so brief. We face the hour of death with both deep sorrow and relief. And so we love, we learn, we lose, we choose, we grow. And so we love, we learn, we lose, we choose, we grow. And so we love, we learn, we lose, we choose, we grow. And I know you've always loved me, and I've always loved you so. Thank you for